A beautiful white couple played by Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler has their evening ruined and their coitus interrupted by a group of strangers in strange masks who terrorize them throughout the night. In The Strangers. This is today's review. March on Demand, I'm taking your requests for reviews. This is from a request from Bryson1439, who made this request. Funnily enough, this is not the first person to request this movie for me to review. A while back, a YouTuber or a commenter YouTuber by the name of Emily McDonald also requested me to do this. So I'll put you in the comment, or you in the request as well, if you want. But I talked about it a little bit in, of all things, a Q&A video, where I kind of talked about my experience watching the movie and how it was kind of ruined for me. So first and foremost, I want to say this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen the movie, here's a short version. It's good. It's pretty good. If you're a horror fan, if you like really good chase scenes, if you like kind of tense moments, definitely give it a shot. Unless you're like me and you have one thing that's going to keep you from enjoying it, which, heading into spoiler territory, is that. So we have the couple. We have Liv Tyler, we have Scott Speedman. They're the main characters in the movie, but there is a side character other than the group that's pursuing them and chasing them around at night, which is one of Scott Speedman's friends. I forget the character's name. And I forget the actor's name, but it's the actor who plays Dennis on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. One of my favorite shows, one of the most hilarious shows in my opinion. But first and foremost, there's always that kind of moment where you're like, wait, is that really? Oh yeah, it's Dennis. But whatever. But he's like only in it for a second. But then he comes back into the movie, where it's that patented scene. It's that sort of cliched scene where there's always a moment in these types of movies where we expect that the people in trouble, or the couple or whoever, they're going to be saved either by a cop or by the wise old man or by the friend. In this case, it's Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So there's this tense scene, like the record has been hit and it's like skipping, and it's a creepy song playing and skipping, and he's walking through the hall and it's really silent and it's supposed to be very tense, and he's walking around, and the couple, Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler, they think it's the killer's coming, and they have the gun. Then he turns the corner, kablam! Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia gets his fucking head shot off. And I lost it. I was howling with laughter during this scene. So I think, if you're a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you might have the tension ruined a little bit. But other than that, I'll say this is a good movie. And I'll say it's a success for three reasons. Reason one, what it really does, it kind of plays with a certain type of expectation you have about this genre, about its opening, about its actors. You look at two actors like Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler, you kind of think, oh, this is going to be a romantic comedy. Like, let's say, or like a romance movie, something like that. Like, for example, if someone who doesn't know any better, they look at the TV guide and they're like, oh, okay, so there's a movie called The Strangers. Maybe it's, about two strangers who meet each other and fall in love. It stars Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler. When's the last time you've really seen Liv Tyler in a horror movie or something like that? It is kind of risky casting, I'd say, or at least, against expectation casting. And the movie does indeed kind of start off like a romance film where it is about this couple. We learn kind of in flashbacks that the man had proposed to the girl and made a big spectacle of it, filled the house with rose petals, and they went out to dinner, and she turned him down. And they're kind of dealing with that. They still love each other. They still want to stay together. You're still my girl, he tells her. And, it is this tender moment. And I'm really impressed with the way that they establish these characters so quickly, and their situations so quickly, and their whole kind of relationship so quickly, because you do kind of feel, yeah, okay, I'm invested in this. But then, of course, they're about to, have sex, and the door knocks, or the doorbell rings, something happens, someone's at the door, and thus the horror movie begins. So it turns into the horror movie very quickly. So anybody who's not expecting that will definitely have the rug pulled from beneath them, I'd say. Two, I think this is a great example of how a movie can kind of trim away all the fat, if you want to call it that, and turn it, this type of horror movie, this type of slasher movie, into one big long chase scene. Like usually, like any kind of Friday the 13th movie, there's like killings here and there of certain characters, and then there's the big chase scene at the end. And a lot of people, that's their favorite part of the movie. This whole movie is that scene, is that chase scene. So there's no kind of sub story or sub characters. Characters are kind of put in unnecessarily just to be killed along the way. The whole movie is this chase, and for the most part, I'd say it keeps up the tension very well. So I like that. It's basically like, if you love those kinds of chase scenes, that's like the final girl or the final girl and the guy trying to survive the night. This is a full movie of that scene. That's pretty cool. 3, I do love the fact that they don't really give any kind of reason for these enemies, these antagonists, these killers, these pursuers, these crazy motherfuckers in the masks for doing what they're doing. Which I think that keeps it scarier, you know, like it's like with the conversation in Scream, you know. Did we ever decide why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people? Did we ever, you know, discuss why Norman Bates decided to dress up like his mother? Whatever. You know, it's scarier without a motive, right? And so they don't have a motive. I mean, even in the end, there's kind of like the well-known exchange of, why? Why did you do this? Why are you doing this to us? You were home. And that's it. And that's pretty unnerving, I think. Only thing I'll say is the ending kind of has an unnecessary jump scare, which we didn't need, unless it's in a different version. I know this particular DVD, it's unrated, so it has both unrated cut and theatrical cut. So who knows which is which, if the ending is the same, but who the fuck cares? By the way, based on true events, whatever. I mean, if a movie has to say it's inspired by true events, I mean, I don't care one way or another. I mean, just be a good movie, scary movie. It's not going to make me less or more interested to hear that, because it's like, oh, Conjuring is based on true events. Yeah, sure. Great. But anyway, if these are true events, that's great. Apparently, I think I remember reading it was actually sort of a personal autobiographical story of the director, who's Brian Bertino. Is that Italian? Bertino. Kind of an experience he had where he was terrified by people like knocking on his door at night and things like that. So he took it one step further and made this movie. So a very successful movie for those 3 reasons, I'd say. I enjoyed it despite, you know, laughing my ass off when I wasn't supposed to, which is always a problem. But one thing I will say, I watched this during Halloween time. I watched this last October. At the exact same time, I also bought You're Next, which is a very similar movie, a very similar premise, and it does kind of have this stuff that this movie doesn't have, in that it does actually come up with more backstory, more reason. I'd say You're Next is a better movie than this, which isn't to take away the movie, but if take away from this movie. But with similar premises, I think a lot more was done with You're Next, because this, as good as it is, I don't think it's too rewatchable, in my opinion. But again, if you're just a huge fan of the final chases in movies, this is an epic. Simple as that. This is an epic for those types of scenes. So I'm very impressed with that. So I like the movie. Give it a thumbs up. So thank you, Bryson1439 and Emily McDonald, for your recommendation for reviewing The Strangers. A very effective horror film. And it's very funny to see Dennis from It's Always Sunny get his fucking face shotgunned off. So there's that. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all the good stuff. I'm doing March on Demand. I'm taking your recommendations. Tell me what to review. I'm going to post a video below for that announcement, that whatever. Comment there if you want me to review something. I'd love to hear what my subscribers want to see. But until next time, visit dare237.com. Check out my other videos this month, and I'll see you later.